My CO2 fitting is leaking. How do I fix it? Great question. And first and foremost, safety must be observed at all times. And what do I mean by this? Go to the tank, turn the tank off. Do not do anything else, because any attempt to do anything else, you're putting yourself in harm's way, because the fitting could come loose, something else could break. You don't know what's gonna happen, and you don't know what you don't know, but I can tell you what I know is there's pending danger around the corner. So do me a favor, go back, turn the tank off, and then expel all the rest of the CO2 from your line, your system, your hose, whatever you're doing in normal operation. Once that's done, go ahead and disconnect any fittings. Typically, at this point, you would need to observe and make a note on where the leak is coming from. So after the safety's been observed and you know how to fix it, you need to take a picture. Actually, you're gonna know how to fix it when you review this video, but you need to take a picture of exactly where that leak is coming from. Send that picture and or video, which if you watch this in advance, hopefully people are proactive and do that, you'll know that, okay, I've watched these videos, I know that I need to take a photo or a video to send in. Why? Because just by words, we can't understand what you're talking about. It may be relayed one way when actually the leak is coming from somewhere different. Something may be called one thing, but it actually, in realistic, it might be something different. Therefore, a picture and a video, ideally a video, more so a picture, and I'll get to that in a minute, are always needed. We can't assist you unless we have media showing exactly where the leak is coming from. Now, why did I say a picture and or video? Video's preferred. However, the last thing that I want is you to go record a video and put yourself back in harm's way. If you feel comfortable, ultimately, we need to have a video that shows exactly where the leak is at. And the reason why is this: sometimes with fittings, I look down because typically we have a demo product here, but typically with fittings, when you have a group of fittings, what ends up happening is this: the leak is from one fitting, but it sprays back towards another set of fittings. So the leak is actually coming from somewhere different than you think it is. And we have experienced this before where somebody sends a product in, the leak they say is coming from a certain area, and we find out that it's actually not coming from that area at all. It was somewhere different because of the reflection of where the leak is from. Now, in order to tell exactly where the leak is from, what we do, I can't advise anything here, but here's some tricks to the trade if you're unaware. Because if liquid's spraying out, obviously you're gonna see that. It's gonna get cold, you're gonna know where it's at. But if a leak is coming from somewhere and you don't know, but you know it's leaking, you can hear it, what you can do is take a long pipe or a toilet paper roll, if you don't have a pipe, or a paper towel roll, anything with a tube, and don't put it at your ear, okay? You don't put it, actually we happen to have something here, so I can use this. You don't put this at your ear. Never do that, because if something happens, you'll blow your eardrum out and you'll hurt yourself. So don't do that. Number one is you take that item and you put it like this so that it's blowing away from your head. However, your hearing and your ear can hear any noise that's focused on just this area at the end of the pipe. And what you do is you take this and you go over, I know this looks crazy, huh? You go over and you find where that leak is coming from. Now, this is if you don't know where it's at, and maybe you have something that you want to find the leak and you just don't know. But 9 times out of 10, you will know where it's coming from, and you will know where that leak's coming from, like I said, and then we can address it on how to fix it. Now, first and foremost, after safety. Normally, if it's coming from a fitting, what can happen is the fitting itself, you can actually tighten just a little bit more. That's okay. Not all the time though. Now, certain things that you have to be careful with on the fittings are going to be any brass fittings, any copper fittings, any soft metal type fittings. Steel, stainless steel, any type of steel, typically you're not gonna crack. We've broken them before because of how we tightened them, but we do it the spec, and sometimes those are the lower grade steels. The higher grade, which we currently use, we're not gonna do that. Now, what happens is you don't want to tighten it too much. You just tighten it enough where the leak stops, okay? And this is a quick remedy to fix, because ideally we want a safe product. We want you to be safe, but at the same time, the show must go on. And so we're presenting all options here, because sometimes in the normal process, anything that's under warranty, even if it's not under warranty, we could still address these items. But all items that come into our service department do have a surcharge. It's a bench fee. It may get credited back either on the shipping or the parts or whatever else, again, subject to the terms and conditions of service. But the shipping coming in, the shipping coming back, this can take time. The service department that's in operation is at minimal hours because we don't have a lot of service items. So therefore, in order to pay to get this process faster, either there's one route to pay more, which I understand. You don't want to do that because you want something fixed if it's coming from us. But this video also blankets any type of CO2 product. Other companies have different rules on this. But for us, maybe you want it fixed faster. So the time is more important to you and the money's not. Well, there's expedited shipping, expedited service, and then we can fix it. Other than that, maybe the money's not wanting to be spent, which is totally fine, okay? And that's ultimately your call. But at that time, what we could do is send you the products, we could send you videos or details in writing on how to fix these items. Our service department can send a video on what to do. We could send you a replacement part, things like that. So with that said, again, never do anything under pressure. Everything needs to be turned off, and I have to say that. Second, you do want to find out where the leak is coming from and document it as best as possible. Other items to document this, and we actually have other videos on our channel, are going to be: where's the leak coming from? What made the leak? What else is happening? Is it multiple items that are leaking or just one? Certain things come into play. Is the leak on the pressure side or is it on the non-pressure side, which is before or after the valve? Typically, anything after the valve really isn't a leak. Maybe those fittings just need to be tightened a little more. Anything on the pressure side, that can be a problem and it needs to be fixed. So with that said, if you're wondering, my CO2 fitting is leaking, how do I fix it? That's how you do it. Now let me preface this, and I'll comment in the description below to forward to this point. If you're watching, you're already there. Your CO2 fitting itself on a tank, if it's leaking, you don't want to completely tighten that and keep tightening it down. We have another video just on that. And I say that because if you do not have a washer in there and you tighten it down so tight, it's going to break and it's going to be a bigger problem. Once that hose gets loose, it's a serious safety concern. People can get killed from that, okay? There actually is people been lost their legs from that. So case in point, shock value, purpose of saying that, you definitely want to take precaution when dealing with this stuff. 800 PSI is a lot, maybe more if it's in a hotter environment. Regardless, that's how you fix it. CO2 fitting, again, turn the tank off, loosen the fitting, make sure the washer's in there, put a new washer in. If that one doesn't work, tighten it down, hand tight, and then a quarter of the turn, half turn, and you should be good. You want to test it. Turn the tank on a little bit, test it some more, make sure that there's no leaks, and then go ahead and run your program normal with the operation of your equipment. Other than that, leave a comment in the description below if you have any other questions. And again, thanks for watching. This is CryoFX.